What is going on, everyone? Welcome to G-Ball Vision. Today I have an exciting one for you. We are taking a look at a new knife release for Devo knives. This is called the Chaser, and throughout this video I'll pop up some various photos, and down in the description I'll have links to all the 6 different variants that are available. There's 6 retailers involved and there's 6 variants. Each retailer is going to have a different variant. They all look really cool. The Devo Knives website exclusive here is going to be the Flame Tiger Stripe Ano on the titanium, and we have a beautiful milling pattern here. Now, one thing that really stands out to me about this knife, there's a couple of things, but this is the first rear flipper only knife that Devo has done. And I'm a big fan of flipper knives that are done well. The right placement, the proper flipper, and the right detent. When you can combine all 3 of those things, you're going to get an extremely satisfying action. And the placement of this flipper is done perfectly. The jimping that rounds down under the flipper there, or over top I should say, just gives you a ton of leverage. And knowing Lefty and Kevin, you know that these detents are going to be tuned properly, and this one is done very well. The detent is very nice on this one. Get a ton of leverage on it. That flipper works really well. And then right out of the box, this thing is dropping closed, but it's dropping very nice and controlled. Now, another huge draw to me on this knife is going to be the S90V steel. I love this layout. We're looking at a 2-tone satin. We have a nice hand satin on the flat, and then on the primary we have a beautiful belt satin and a nice little top swedge on that last quarter. Really kind of throws everything together. That was a nice little touch to kind of make sure everything was nice and refined. The sharpening choil looks good. The blade on this knife is excellent. Another area is this 50-50 area. We're not losing any edge, and we're still going to be able to get a ton of control over this knife. So I can choke up right behind that edge. And that 50-50 area is also going to allow you to creep up onto that tip if you have some more precise type work to do. So love the blade shape in combination with this 50-50 area here. Now, I would have loved to have seen a longer backspacer on this knife. I think that would have really just tied everything together. And it's still beautiful. I just think, you know, even if we went all black all the way up, that would have really kind of tied this whole knife together for me. But as it is, I really am enjoying this thing. It's very comfortable. Even in like this standard grip, I'm squeezed, but I can get a 4-finger. And of course, choking up, I can get a full comfortable grip, and that's where I'll pretty much live unless it's some sort of quick type cut. Now, the hardware situation is interesting, and as far as exposed hardware goes, this is about as clean as you can do it. We have our customized pivot there, and we have our filler tab on the show side, and that's it. And it looks good. We're gonna have the same setup here on the back. We have our pivot screw, the told side, and then we have our milled tie clip, and we have our Torx screw there, just a single Torx. It is going to be recessed in there, so you don't have to worry about the pocket clip moving. You can see it's going to be recessed into that titanium, and you have no fear about that going anywhere. We have a matching titanium backspacer. As we said, I would have loved if that went up further, but that's all right. We have tons of internal milling on the show side here, and then on the lock side we have our liner, which I believe is going to be steel, which is completely fine. Keep costs down and doesn't matter one bit. So that is going to be steel. Great access to the liner. Chamfered off here on the show side nicely. Great access, and then a chamfer on that liner. I would have loved if they did some jimping in combination with that, but that is okay as well. As far as deployments, you have the flipper, and depending on your skill level and which version you get, you can reverse flick them out. Now, that doesn't really matter to me. I like, as I said, a good solid flipper, and this is definitely that. But on this one, I can still reverse flick it out, no problem about it. So let's see what kind of size we're looking at with this knife. So it's not a large knife. Let's see, we're just shy of 7. We're coming in at like 6 and 15/16 we'll give it. 2 3/4 of cutting edge and 3 inches of total blade. There definitely, Kev, if you watch this ever, there needs to be an XL of this knife. There needs to be an XL chaser. There's no question. There needs to be like a, I don't know, whatever's reasonable to you, but there needs to be an 8-inch plus chaser. That would be such a great, that would be great. So we'll throw a couple comparison knives up. We have the drop bear up top and the Benchmade bug out on the bottom, and you'll see this is in that size range, a little bit closer to the drop bear size. We have the full-size Militaw up top, and we have the Vastid Raccoon on the bottom, which those are both larger knives than the previous two, and you'll see that the chaser is quite a bit smaller than both of those. See, even Militaw size would be about perfect for this knife. That would be, we gotta have it, Kev. We gotta have it. I'm sure Kev has been over some of this stuff relentlessly on his channel, but let's see what this looks like in the pocket here. Great retention, very good retention. And it's going to carry like a standard milled clip. We'll have a little bit poking out of the pocket there, but that'll give you something nice to grab a hold of and pull this thing out of the pocket. Very tight retention on that clip. It's got some good retention, but there's plenty of space under there as well. Let's get a weight on this. And for the people who've been watching me for a while, I learned something new about this scale. I was actually watching something weird, and they happen to have the same scale and use it, but didn't open the lid. You can weigh stuff just on the top of this lid. Now, I'll do an example here with this concept. 4.5. Let's open it. And same reading, 4.4, 4.5. So you can actually weigh stuff right on top of this thing. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting factoid. So let's see. I know Kev would have tried to keep the weight down. Let's say 3.4. Is it heavier than that? 3.4. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. 94 grams. So yeah, they kept the weight down nice on that. Let's double check just to be safe. And we're coming in right there at 3.3, 3.4, somewhere in that range. We'll go ahead and get a handle thickness here and see what we're looking at. And we are 0.47 on this particular model. We'll check our blade stock here, thickest part, and down there around 114. We'll check the behind the edge thickness. Pick a random spot. And this one is looking like right around 15 in that particular spot with that particular hold. But let's see how this cuts out of the box. So we have our telephone book paper here, and with the right geometry on the blade and the right steel, we have a possible recipe for a fantastic edge retentive blade. And Kubi is the OEM behind these, and I've been using their S90V I've had their S90V dating back 4 years probably. So I have plenty of experience with it, and I think it's only gotten better over time. I think they've increased it like by a point or two since then. So it's even better than it used to be, and it was just fine a couple years ago. So we're going to be getting a very solid knife from tip to butt on this thing. I love the blade shape. I love how the handle flows into the blade. It's going to be a perfect EDC knife, no doubt about it. Not too big, not too small, fit in a lot of people's size range. I think they tried to keep the price down on these as low as they could. I don't know the exact price. I did buy this one, but I don't remember what it came to. But I'll link what I can down below. Most of the stuff is available, but there are some that aren't. I believe this one is out of stock, so we'll have to see what is available. I'll link every model, whether they're in stock or out of stock. That way you can go and check them. Of course, this is going to meet the whacker. This is turning out to be one of my favorite Kubis here. Let's see what we got. Couple of light taps out towards the tip. Close it, check it. Triple tap in the middle. No changes. Couple harder taps up there towards the pivot, and it's still feeling very good. And behind you, you have a fantastic customer service and company. So if you pick up one of their knives, Kevin and Colin will certainly go out of their way to take care of you, and that's something worth investing in. I am not a businessman. I don't own my own business, but as a consumer, there's two things I look for. Do you have good customer service, and you're going to stand behind your product? If you do, that is a huge check mark in the right column. The secondary thing is, how involved is that company with what they're selling? And involvement in the community or the category that you're in, that's a huge deal. So you are in touch with what's going on, what people are looking for, what they're saying, and then you can implement that stuff into whatever the product is you're selling. And Devo, Kevin, and Colin accomplish both those things, and I think that's what drives a lot of success. Listening to the consumers and standing behind your products, you know, no matter what. So huge props to Kevin and Colin. They are going to be very successful if they continue down this road, and I think they will. This comes with a nice package. You get several stickers, you get several microfiber cloths, and you also get a complete hardware kit with everything included. And each version will come with different hardware kits, I believe, as far as I hear. You guys will have to let me know. What do you think of the new Devo Knives Chaser? Love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video out there to more people. If you're new to the channel here and you enjoy this type of content, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe because I release daily videos just like this. I'll put up a couple of new videos on your screen. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.